Welcome to another edition of the Hoop Scoop. I'm Jared Johnson, and Texas Tech moved to 3-0 on the season with a 64-55 victory over Louisiana Tech at home. The victory completed a 3-game homestand. Like I said, Texas Tech won all 3 of those games, but now things are about to really amp up in terms of a level of competition as the Red Raiders next week will be going to Maui. Yes, Maui, to play in the Maui Invitational, one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious, early season or pre-conference tournaments in college basketball going on. I mean, I got a lot of gray in my beard, and I remember being a little kid watching the Maui Invitational and looking forward to it every year, and it really signaling the true, like for me, the beginning of college basketball. So, you know, my plane tickets are I got my plane tickets, I got my hotel books, I got my credentials to cover the tournament, so I'm really looking forward to going out there for the first time to Hawaii, but getting to see some great basketball too. It's bucket list, two buckets on the list, two bucket list items with getting to go to Maui, but then also big time getting to be at the Maui Invitational and get to see such great basketball. So, but Texas Tech handled its business against Louisiana Tech. It was a roller coaster game. The Red Raiders came out and they were just locked in, looked great defensively. I think they actually held Louisiana Tech scoreless for the first 5 minutes. Had a double-digit lead, and then turnovers. We got a little lax on defense, and Louisiana Tech got right back in the game, especially on a really quick run. I think it was a minute and a half. They went on a 6-0 run and late, and that really cut Tech's lead down at the break. And then they got within, I believe, 2 early in the second half, and they had a 3 rattle go in and out. That would have given Louisiana Tech their first lead, but they missed it. The Red Raiders put in a lot of their veterans. I believe at one point it was Kevin O'Banner, Davion Harmon, Jalen Tyson, which I guess you could call it. He's a starter. Anyways, but and not a true freshman. Kerwin Walton was in there, and then Daniel Bacho, who had a great game. All 5 of those guys really was able to weather the storm, give Texas Tech, kind of give it a bigger lead, and then they held on late against, like I said, Louisiana Tech team, coached by former Red Raider assistant coach Talvin Hester. They played really well. Louisiana Tech gave Texas Tech all they wanted at certain points of the game, but Texas Tech ended up winning by 9 points. So a couple of guys had really good games, starting with Davion Harmon. I want to give you the stat line, get it exactly right here. But he had a really good game with 15 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks with just 1 turnover. So I mean, he was great. And, it seemed like anytime Texas Tech was in trouble, he was a steadying force. He's definitely the floor general, captain, leader that you want out there. A veteran player and a good player. Daniel Bacho had 9 points and 7 rebounds, which is good, but he had 6 blocks. Texas Tech had 11 blocks overall, and he had 6 of them. So he was truly a big-time rim protector and a force out there, in the paint for Texas Tech. I would like to see him shoot free throws a little better, though. He made a couple of clutch ones later in the game. And I'd like to see him be a little stronger with the ball in the paint. But like I said, 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 blocks. I mean, that's getting it done. Kevin O'Banner had a good game, 15 points and 8 rebounds. He ended up with 3 turnovers overall at the end. Was really why he had 2 turnovers in a row in consecutive possessions, I think in the final minute, which were just kind of confusing because he played such a good game. Like I said, leading scorer, or tied for the lead in terms of for Texas Tech with 15 points with Davion Harmon, 8 rebounds, 4 of those on the offensive end. He was diving on the ground. He just really had a good game until that final minute where he had a couple of those careless passes that were intercepted. So that was a shame for his very good night to end that way. But overall, still a really good performance from O'Banner. Pop Isaacs, he had 4 turnovers, and we can't gloss over that because Texas Tech had 20 turnovers, which is, again, too many turnovers. It was a big reason why Louisiana Tech got back in the game. But he did have 10 points and also had 4 assists. So he made a couple threes, a couple big threes, and he's coming on. In the post-game presser, he talked about him coming on and it's the fact that he had been injured and he didn't start practicing until late, like I think late September, and he's still getting acclimated. He's a true freshman, all that. So you could see the talent there and the potential. He just needs to clean up some of those turnovers, and then I think he could really take off. And I asked Coach Adams in the postgame presser about Pop too, and he said, yeah, basically he echoed what Pop said, just that there's potential there. He is creating for his teammates as well, but yeah, the turnovers need to be cleaned up, and he expects him to get better in that department. Jalen Tyson, most of his damage was done in the first half, but he had a really cool dunk, steal, and a dunk. And he did hit 1 3, had 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. So pretty good game from Jalen. I wish they would go to him more when they really need a bucket, because I think that guy's one of your most talented scorers and he can generate his own offense. But overall, pretty good. KJ Allen had a couple blocks and 3 rebounds. A lot of the younger guys didn't play as much. Elijah Fisher did hit a 3, and he finished with 5 points. But him and Washington and Demarion Williams and Robert Jennings, they played 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and then Robert Jennings only played 1 minute. So we saw a little bit of the tightening of the rotation in the second half when things got close between the two teams. So that's something to monitor. And I asked Coach Adams about that, his rotation moving forward. He just said, look, there's some guys who can play. They need to put it together, and they're still trying to figure out exactly what the rotation is going to be, later in the season once Big 12 play starts and stuff like that. So overall, man, 3-0 start. Texas Tech moved up in the rankings also Monday to 23rd in the country. Great opportunity out in Maui coming up next week. Like I said, I'm looking forward to going and covering that big time. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.